it just got real when it comes to Josh Giddey's contract situation with the Chicago Bulls and how other executives around the league believe Josh Giddey isn't worth the money. Hi, I am Shaq Barnes here with another great episode of Bulls Digest, the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls. Also notice that 6, 7 city guys haven't watched the channel, have not subscribed. Treat it like the Bulls intro. Run right through that subscribe button. You know how I do when I do my videos. I don't like to waste you guys' time. Let's get right into the news. How NBA execs feel about the Josh Giddey upcoming Bulls contract situation. NBA executives give their thoughts on Josh Giddey contract negotiated with the Chicago Bulls currently. So obviously, if you've not been living on a rock or hiding when it comes to this Chicago Bulls news, Josh Giddey is a restricted free agent. He wants $30 million plus per year, 5 years, $30 million. The Bulls are leaning towards more of a $20 million and a 4-year deal, and they have been bumping heads on this contract negotiations since the start of offseason. Both sides keep claiming that everything is still in good faith. It's just good business negotiation. And the problem comes with just necessarily it's not that like Josh Giddey is not a great player or the Bulls are just trying to lowball him. It's just the business of basketball where it's not that many teams there that can offer Josh Giddey the money that he wants. Chicago Bulls are one of those teams who can, but they're going to definitely lowball you if anybody would. They know they got the upper hand on the negotiation table. But it's in a recent article from Fred Katz and Joey Loritz of The Athletic, NBA executives give their thoughts on what they think Giddey is worth and the overall contract dispute. One of the executives believe $100 million over 4 years was fair. And it's a quote right here. I want to get deep dive into this quote real quick. And it says, Giddey is the anomaly because he might be good enough to be a 4-year player. The executive said nobody wants to go with long-term contracts because everybody wants this idea of flexibility. You want to have the ability to say, you know what, my team is not very good, let's pivot. And this is a lot of things that hit my mindset when it came to this situation with the Josh Giddey. Because if you look at that quote, when he said, no team is trying to commit long-term to players. And I don't necessarily, it ain't always necessarily that a team like, as a Chicago Bulls fan, we feel like the Bulls have not been doing enough or have not spent and not trying to win. But now with the new CBA, it's going to be even harder to spend money because with the new CBA, that first and second apron, where you will be stuck with things you can't do, you certain trades you can't make, certain picks you can't move, certain people you can't sign, some people you might have to let go because of the first and second apron and the taxes that you will have to pay and the limitability that you will have when it comes to this. So I think it's even bigger than just the Bulls and Josh Giddey. I think it's more of the new CBA. And with this new CBA, it makes it hard for teams to keep players on that they had. It makes teams hard to keep high-paid players that they have, or also I should say players that they drafted. So it all comes full circle when it comes to this. But also, let's not let the Bulls off the hook because at the end of the day, this is a player that you feel like he's a part of your future. You just re-signed Billy Donovan, and if he's part of that build that Billy Donovan wants, you got to kind of bring him back. I understand not the 30. And if you guys have been watching this channel, I have always suggested, hey, let's do a 24, 25-ish million and add incentives for him to get to his 30. I think that's very fair because I think if we play how we played last season, the second half of last season, that Josh Giddey is that guy in that same role, his numbers are going to show. I literally told you guys, at best, we could probably get a 21, 10, and 10. At worst, 16, 17, 8, and 8. And then at mid, 19, 8, and 8, something like that. He's going to put up those numbers with how the offense is going to be ran. But no matter what, NBA executive says, Josh Giddey isn't worth as much as he wants. Josh Giddey is not. Executives around the league so saying even if they had the money, which I think is easy to say when you don't have the money at the point in time where, hey, we wouldn't pay Josh Giddey or Josh Giddey isn't worth the money. But I guarantee if the team was available who wanted Josh Giddey, they will have paid him. It said, at all the restricted free agents who have similar troubles as Josh Giddey, Jonathan Kuminga, Quentin Grimes, NBA executives are most comfortable paying Giddey a lot of money out of those other two players, which is a positive. According to Bleacher Nation, he has a higher pedigree and fewer concerns than the other two. How much would that be, though? Not as much as he wants. The $30 million salary was nowhere to be found. 14 of the front office executives suggest the deal that carried a average annual salary of in the 20 to 25 million. Not where Josh Giddey wants to be. And see, I even said that 20, 20, 25. I think that's fair because Josh Giddey only showed us a half of a season what he could do. Can he show us he could be healthy? Because Josh Giddey has had injuries before in the past. Can he be healthy and can he do it for a full 82-game season? And what the impact does it have on the Chicago Bulls, and especially with a wide open East right now? Where does that put us at? So I think 2025 add incentives, and then he hit those incentives, then boom, there you go. Now you getting close to the money that you want. It won't hit exactly at 30, but it'd be closer to it, and I think he should be happy with that. Yeah, it said one took it even lower, posting a deal with 18 million AAV. Another Shockey suggested a deal worth 50 million 4 years, which is less than half of what Giddey wanted when he initially hit the restricted free agency. The average was 22 million per year, which would be appropriate. I think 22 billion a year, don't get me wrong, between 20 and 25 is appropriate because Josh Giddey wanted 30 off the bat, like he didn't have a full whole season of that, so I do understand that from the Bulls' perspective. But also, I understand why you're trying to get your money. If your money's there, you got to try to get it. Giddey has been a solid player, and he is still just 22 years old. He also fits well with the Chicago Bulls. He didn't regress, and in the fact, finished with a really strong run at the end of the season, averaging a double-double. He even improved his shooting from deep, which he did. The player is worth some money, just not worth breaking the bank about money. And hearing this, you won't break the bank about it. I honestly think the Bulls are in a position right now and where this team is headed. You shouldn't be breaking the bank for nobody. We are a play-in, outside the play-in type team. We should be breaking the bank for nobody right now. Until they show promise, I think they show promise, pay them reasonable amount, but break the bank for nobody. I have to agree on that. We shouldn't break. We not. Only time you break the bank is when you championship contending. If you ain't championship contending, you should not be breaking the bank. This was the funnier to me. It says some other executive proposed 3-year deals, ranging from 54 million to 75 in total money. Cap space around the NBA has become extremely limited, and Chicago may not be willing to take that much of a long-term commitment to a former lottery pick. One poll citing the Patrick Williams contract as a referencing point for the Chicago Bulls. And if I was Josh Giddey, if I see Patrick Williams, I will put him in a headlock because this is part of the problem why he can't get paid because everybody go point and say, hey, look, you remember you paid Patrick Williams all this money, and you know what happened when you paid him all this money? He was not worth the money. That's the main thing. So if anybody in Chicago Bulls players are hesitant to get paid, and it's taking a hard time if you get paid, blame Patrick Williams. And that's an honest, a good reference point too. You can't get mad at that. The fact remains that Patrick Williams has not been worth the money that they signed him for, and they could have let him hit unrestricted free agency and probably signed him for a lower contract. But they instantly gave him 5 years, $90 million. Shout out Patrick Williams and his agent for getting that money for him on the table. Giddey's actually put in more work than Patrick Williams in the short stint that since he been here. Then Patrick Williams been here this whole time. So Giddey is worth some money. Like you said, I wouldn't break the bank for him, but I will have to bring him back because what we kind of seen a glimpse of how good this team can be, and I think add Josh Giddey to that dynamic and focal pointing him around the dynamic is something that we need to do. And when you look at Josh Giddey, he around like 30 minutes per game, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7.2 assists, shot 46% from the field, 37% from 3, He improved his numbers. His number improved all around. Then after the trade deadline, he was giving you close to 20, 10, and 9 during that point. All numbers pointing up. So you're going to get something from Josh Giddey when you bring him back to this team. And it fit Wells and Billy Donovan system, that run and gun, fast pace, up and down system. Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Is Josh Giddey worth the money? Do you agree with the NBA executives that the Bulls should not break the bank for Josh Giddey? Josh Giddey is not worth more than $20 to $22 million on a contract. Let me know. It's been Shaq Barnes, SB Talk Sports. Another episode of Bulls Digest. Peace.